Today we are looking into probably the most common mistyping that I personally have experienced in my work. It's between the type 2, the helper, and type 9, the peacemaker. And I think because I predominantly work with a lot of women, these two have a lot of feminine energy with them, being the helper, being accommodating, keeping the peace, that sort of thing. So it makes sense why these would be top two kind of mistypes of the Enneagram. There are some similarities and there are also some key differences, and we're going to get into both of those today. The Type 2 and the Type 9 are both very service oriented. So for the most part, looking at others to be helpful, to serve. 9 sometimes get a reputation for being slow or lazy, and that's not the case. A lot of times they are busy, and sometimes being busy doing for others can get that out. And type 2, obviously the helper, very known for their service, both tend to be pretty friendly, very optimistic. Both can need to be careful about losing themselves and losing their needs by that outward focus. So something that they have in common that they do both need to be on the lookout for. Type 2s, because their core motive is to be loved, wanted, and appreciated, will, if they're being honest, will admit that they can probably get almost anybody to like them if they want that person to like them. It is a skill, and they don't always use it for people that don't care about if they like them or not, but when it is important for them to be liked by that specific person, they can turn it on. Whereas a 9, their core motive is to have inner, outer peace, to belong, to have that connection. And so that's what they're focused on: peace, harmony, connection, not so much somebody liking them. And then both will do for others. And of course, it's always nice to be appreciated for what you do for somebody else, the favor, a give, whatever it might be. 9s are going to be a little bit more relaxed, laid back, patient, and getting some sort of thank you or acknowledgement. Whereas a 2 is going to want that a little bit quicker and say, hey, I did this for you. You know, are you appreciative? Didn't you notice what I did for you? I'm going to show you what I did for you. I'm going to tell you about what I did for you. 2s are very in touch with others, very intuitive, very empathetic. And so they can see who the real person is in front of them. They can see through people. They can see their hurts. They can see where there might be a little fragile. They can see their needs, and that almost draws them to that person more because they feel more connected to them, and then they feel more needed. This person has needs, and I'm here to help, so they need me, and we both kind of win in that situation. Whereas a 9 tends to idealize the world around them, kind of live in that optimistic, don't want to acknowledge any sort of conflict or bad and that type of thing in the world around them or in others. So they can put others on a pedestal and not really see who the real person is. The type 2, though, is definitely going to see that. Now, with that, being able to really understand and see somebody, 2s are excellent gift givers. Like, they know what their people like, what they want. They take pride in being able to pick out the perfect gift. They remember birthdays and other significant dates in those people's lives. Whereas a 9, they're gonna like to be given some suggestions for those gifts. And this one specifically is so true. I have 2 members in my family. One I'm pretty sure is a 2. One has self-identified as a 9. The 2 sends cards for every holiday. Every single holiday, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, getting cards, getting little thank you notes, thank you gift cards here and there at favorite restaurants and that type of thing. Type 9, extremely loving, extremely caring, but they just don't have that sense of like, what do I like? Have that like remembering, it's not on their radar of those like specific times and dates to do those kind of gestures. And that's okay. Like that, they're just not thinking about that. 2s will walk the extra mile for their people, and they will actually help them. They are excellent at providing practical help. They know what people need and they know how to help people get what they need. Whereas a 9, they're going to wish you well. They're going to wish you well on your journey. They're excellent at providing that comfort and that support, but maybe not as good as the 2 at providing that practical help. And part of that is because, they don't maybe do that for themselves. They don't have they tend to have a little bit lower energy, whereas the 2 tends to have more energy to do those kinds of things, kind of jump in. 2s are in the feeling triad, more so feeling other people's feelings. So that kind of goes back to those gift giving and seeing the hurt in others, really getting in touch with that, but not so much their own feelings. And 9 are in the body center, although their doing is sometimes repressed. And it doesn't mean that they don't do, it's just not always on the most practical things. And so again, a 2 is going to be have a lot of energy and do, maybe a little bit more directed, whereas a 9 maybe not doing the things that they need to do in their relationships or in their job, and they can feel like, oh my gosh, look at all that I'm doing for you, or look at all that I'm doing for this project, but it's just not on the priorities. The last thing I want to mention is that 9s will tend to withdraw to get their needs met, and they'll actually try and get their needs met from themselves. Oh my gosh, it's chaotic out there. I'm going to retreat into my inner peaceful sanctum. And then 2s are going to get their needs met looking outside themselves and moving towards other people to get those needs met. So I hope that offered some additional clues. If you're still confused, I'm going to invite you into a Know Your Number session where we'll sit down and dive more into the key differences between the 2 and the 9 to help you clarify. And then if this was helpful and you realized, oh my gosh, yes, I'm totally a 2 or I'm totally a 9, but now what do I actually do with that? Also inside a Know Your Number session, we'll look at confirming that's your type and then look at ways to use it and really leverage it in the work that you do to build the life that you want, to help the people that you want. It's at sarahlynnco.com/know your number. Again, sarahlynnco.com/know your number. I'd love to see you inside, to be a resource, support you if I can. So until next time, I will see you. Have a good one, and I will see you soon.